recently got the least viewership of all time. The least viewership of all time. Look, let's cut the crap, right? The excuses are over. Oh, well, there are more channels now than there were before. Oh, well, television viewership habits are different. Oh, well, those other shows are also declining. Look, the excuses are over. Cut the crap, right? We're talking the lowest viewership of all time. That includes like the early days, back when Raw was in high school gyms and just getting started. When you get ratings the lowest of all time, the excuses are over. So, given that Raw now has less viewership than Bastion Booger, let's ask ourselves a few questions. Question number 1. When are we going to stop pretending that these guys are main eventers? AJ Styles putting his gloves together, Dean Ambrose with his gas mask, Braun Strowman playing the guitar, Seth Rollins with that nasally voice. Wow, you guys sure are a lot of fun. Look, these guys are not main eventers, right? They're mid-carders. Kevin Owens was feuding with AJ Styles for the US title in the mid-card. Then, all of a sudden, in a flash, they're feuding for the world title. They literally recycled the mid-card into the main event within like 1 year, and it felt no different because they're not main eventers. Question number 2. When are we going to stop ignoring that these guys have no mic skills, right? You guys sure are a lot of fun. Look, these guys' promos are terrible, right? Like, remember when promos were one of a kind? The Rock, Stone Cold, Macho Man, Ric Flair. You know, there's no mistaking them for anyone else. But today's wrestlers, they don't have that charisma. When you hear guys like AJ Styles talk, they sound so ordinary, so plain, so interchangeable. They sound like boring everyday guys. Like, when are we going to stop ignoring that these guys have no mic skills or charisma? These new guys have no charm. Whereas wrestlers used to be larger-than-life characters, now they look like a bunch of nerdy indie wrestlers in cosplay. I mean, for example, The Undertaker was a larger-than-life character, the Phenom, and he worked hard to protect that character, that kayfabe. But when you look at Finn Balor, 1 minute he's a badass in a leather jacket, then he's dancing around with Sasha Banks, then he's randomly the Demon King, then he's some inclusion character wearing rainbows, and now he's goofing off with Bayley, hugging each other. It's like, what the hell is that? There's no consistency. That's not a character. That's a nerdy indie wrestler in a variety of cosplay. When are we going to acknowledge this mockery of kayfabe and its damage to the product? So, when you look at this product with no stars, no mic skills, no charisma, and no kayfabe, it's kind of not a surprise why nobody's watching anymore. Because there's literally nothing to cheer for. There is nothing for me to cheer for. No Stone Cold, no Rock, no like Four Horsemen. There's nothing, right? I am not cheering for Braun Strowman playing the guitar. I am not cheering for Dean Ambrose in a gas mask. I'm not cheering for the B-team goofing off. I'm not cheering for Finn Balor in a selection of cosplay, right? As an adult male, there's literally nothing for me to cheer for. And there's no way I can convince any of my adult male fans to watch this product. Which brings me to the possibly politically incorrect portion of this video. And that's that when you look at the current WWE product, doesn't it look like the product that's being made by females, for females? I mean, when you look at the current product, it seems clear that all the machismo, all the manliness has been eliminated. And now we have stuff like Sasha Banks versus Bayley Q&A, you know, pictures of wrestlers with their moms, Finn Balor smiling sweetly all the time, The Miz mugging for the camera with Asuka, all the male wrestlers have their balls cut off. Like, doesn't that come across as the product of a female marketing executive who knows nothing about wrestling? I mean, let me put it this way. Can you imagine a guy like you or me deciding that we should have a Bayley Q&A on Raw? Hell no. Now, don't get me wrong. This is not an anti-female video. Some of the smartest and most talented people I know are females. And some of the biggest things in entertainment are by females. The Harry Potter franchise is by a female. But the thing about wrestling specifically is that it's historically a very macho and very masculine product. You know, like Hulk Hogan staring down Andre the Giant, Stone Cold smashing his beer together, the Warrior running down to the ring with pure testosterone. Can you feel it? Can you feel it, dude? You know, that's what wrestling is, right? That's where it comes from. You can say it's outdated, but that's the history. So when you take this historically manly product and try to change it into a girl power product, It's not surprising that the viewership becomes the smallest of all time, because the everyday girl who likes Taylor Swift is not going to spend Sunday night waiting to watch TLC. This was on the front page of the WWE webpage. To me, this picture says it all. Stephanie McMahon staring down world champion Roman Reigns, who's looking at his feet. A female non-wrestler staring down the heavyweight champion. Think about that for a second. This is like when Ronda Rousey single-handedly beat up those 4 big security guys in the ring. It comes across as fantasy designed strictly for young female audiences, and in my opinion, it's hurting the product's appeal overall because the wrestling audience is still mostly male. But here's the thing. Even as a girl power product, the product still fails because it comes across as phony, disingenuous, and the writing's still terrible. We talked about this last video. I mean, the women are in all these random throwaway tag team matches, then suddenly out of nowhere they announce something. Oh, it's the female Royal Rumble. It's the female Evolution pay-per-view. And all the women wrestlers are on the stage, breaking kayfabe, hugging each other like they just got some kind of birthday present. Then the event happens, and after the event, it's right back to the throwaway tag team matches and the terrible writing. So even as a girl power product, the product still fails. When are we going to acknowledge how forced this women's revolution is? So now apparently the WWE is going to start listening to the fans. But the question is, which fans? Is it going to be the neckbeards or the mainstream Attitude Era fans? Because what the two sides want is completely different. I listen to these neckbeards and they sound like they're out of their minds. Their idea for making Raw better, apparently, is to add more vanilla indie jobbers, to take guys like Pete Dunne and the 205 Live roster and all these little vanilla indie jobbers from across the country and shove them into the mid-card of Raw while forcing the women into the main event. But that's the exact kind of shit that's keeping the rest of us away. I mean, look, the mainstream era fan is not going to pay $200 for a ticket, $400 for 2 tickets, $20 for parking, just to go see some little vanilla indie guy flipping around in the ring. No, no, no. When we pay $200 for a ticket, we want larger than life. We want The Rock, Stone Cold, Andre the Giant, people that give you butterflies. So, when I listen to these neckbeards talk about stuff like, oh, I can't wait for Adam Cole to become Raw Heavyweight Champion. Look, that is something so different, in my opinion, from what the mainstream fans want. Even with the lowest viewership of all time, some of these neckbeards still seem delusional and totally disconnected with the mainstream fans. I mean, yes, they want Adam Cole as Raw Heavyweight Champion. They want Drew McIntyre to beat Brock Lesnar. Yes, they want to take 1 million of these vanilla indie jobbers and shove them onto Raw. They like 3-hour Raws and 4-hour pay-per-views. They want it to be longer. They say things like, wow, the WWE roster is so stacked right now, I don't know how they fit it on only 2 brands. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? What do you mean star power? Dean Ambrose and his gas mask? Bayley Q&A? Braun Strowman playing the guitar? Like, what the hell are you talking about? AJ Styles putting his gloves together? Like Finn Balor and his variety of cosplay? Like, what the hell are you talking? What are you looking at? And here's the question. If these guys are really stars, then why is it the smallest viewership of all time? And if it's the smallest viewership of all time, wouldn't that mean that the current roster is beneath Doink the Clown and Bastion Booger? If Dean Ambrose is really a star, then why did Eugene get higher ratings? The way some of these neckbeard fanboys support the women's revolution comes across as so hypocritical and so phony. I mean, they'll talk about equality, they'll virtue signal like crazy, but then they'll still treat the women like objects. Like, they'll fake cheer as a skinny little female wrestler beats up a big muscular guy in a fake-looking match, but then they'll drool over her skimpy outfit and her boob job. Like they've never seen a woman before. And what the hell is there to drool over anyways? Like, the boob jobs are never even any good. Like they're a detriment in the ring, and they're not even that attractive because most of them look like the hard kind, like the hard basketballs. Like, what's so hot about that? The hard kind suck. Like, so many times I thought to myself, man, she looked so much better before. Like, why did she do that to herself? Like, is that something that she herself actually wanted? And how does that help her? It helps her because these horny, hypocritical neckbeards drool over them even though they're not even any good because they're the hard kind. And another thing, why the hell does every single female wrestler have that one picture where she's touching the top of her head? You know exactly what I'm talking about, because every single female wrestler has it. Like on the poster where she's touching the top of her head. Like what the hell is that? Like, what is that? You know, like, is that supposed to be cool or sexy? Is it supposed to be sexy? Oh, okay, like, am I sexy now? I'm touching the top of my head. You know, like, why the hell does every single female wrestler pose like that? And what about Renee Young on commentary and how the fanboys overpraise it just because it's the PC thing to do? I mean, dude, Renee Young is terrible on commentary. Terrible. Right? She sounds like freaking Bart Simpson. You know, like, Michael Cole is talking, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's like, don't have a cow, man. It's like, whoa, you know, it's like jarring. You know, like on the last episode of Raw, Kurt Angle's music starts up, and all of a sudden you hear, this is awesome. It's like, whoa. It like hits you over the head. She adds nothing to the show. No charm, no personality, no gimmick, just a jarring voice that sounds like a little boy. And we're supposed to praise it just because she's the only woman on the commentary team? Hell no. Sunny was 100 times better on commentary. Sunny had the charm, the charisma, the personality. She had a great voice at the time, and she had a heel gimmick that she played very well. That's what a woman's commentary should sound like, not Bart Simpson. Hey man, you know, giving us useless information. So to summarize, we got a roster of mid-carders with no charisma and no mic skills. We got a women's revolution with terrible writing. We got all the male wrestlers with their balls cut off. We got Bailey Q&A. We got Becky Lynch's mean tweets. We got an army of neckbeard fanboys wanting more vanilla indie jobbers. And we got Bart Simpson on commentary trying to convince us how great things are. Huh. And you wonder why nobody's watching anymore?